Hey everyone, Urban Fish Keeper here. Man, it's been a few months now since I made my last video, and I've seen some comments and people are going, you know, what's happening when you're back? It's been an interesting couple of months for me. Not to take away from fish, but just to give you some background as to what's happened and where I've been. Since moving to Australia, we've been renting all our life, and we decided that it's time we'd like to purchase a home. And anybody that's purchased a home in general, but in Australia in particular, there's a fair amount that you have to do from a savings point of view and paperwork and all the rest of it to get financing through the bank. Anyway, we went through that process. We eventually found a place. We've then moved into that place. That's where I am now. And it's taken us up until now to find, to settle, to move, to do paperwork and everything else. And I've just started a new job as well. So there's been a lot happening, and that's why the reason for the fish. So from a fish point of view, where we're at, well, we're in my garage. The new place that we've got, I don't have as much space as what we had before. So I'm utilizing the garage. The little 20s is behind the camera, and I'll turn around and show you. The 1000 that used to be in the house is here in the garage now, and then behind me, which I'll show you as well, is the 200 cubes, and then next to that is the marine tank. So from a fish point of view, all the tanks came over. The process moving over was about a 3-day process. My biggest concern was these guys in here. They're under the sand, but I'll try and get some video footage to show you. It's the stingrays. I was really concerned about moving them and how they would move. That was the one part. The other part is I don't get municipal water where I am, so we rely solely on rainwater for everything we do, whether it be cooking, showering, filling aquariums. It's all rainwater. The rainwater here is good that we collect, except as with rainwater, there's nothing really in it. There's no minerals or anything like that, and some people will say, well, look, it's probably better than town water. Time will tell. From a fish point of view, before I moved, what I did is I sold all the excess. So whatever I'd bred in that time since the last video, so there was a lot of garden eye, there was a couple of dwarfs, there was lots of cribs, there was some paradise fish and so forth, and I moved all of that. It was close to $500 worth of fish, which I basically sold just before we moved to try and reduce the quantity of fish that I moved. The good thing is that in the total move, a week later, I lost one angel, one of the Peruvian Ultims. And in the Marines, I lost 2 days later, a week later as well. I lost 2 Marines as well. Not high-end Marines, but nonetheless, I lost. So from a fish point of view, I lost about 3. The rest of it was reasonably okay, but like I said, it took about 3 days for the move. This tank was probably my biggest concern. The other thing is, I'm going to show you the tanks today as is. I haven't cleaned them. There's been no water change done. They are what they are, and I just wanted to share with you and tell you what I'm thinking about going forward. This tank, I actually got like a moving company to actually come and move. We moved the house and everything else ourselves, but this tank, I actually got a company to come in and actually just physically move the tank for me from the one location to this location, and they did a really good job on that. I prepped everything beforehand. I brought 200s over here the day before. I had the rays in there, one in each one, with their water from the existing tank. Brought this over the next day, then filled it up. Got the filters running, got the water settled, all the rest of it, and then only moved the rays in afterwards. All the other fish, the 60-litre cubes, those fish went buckets. Brought tanks over, stand over, all the rest of it. The 20s, what I did with the 20s is I reduced the water level to less than a third with the fish in them, loaded them in the back of my car, brought it over. I did that the one day, left it in at the other house, brought them over the next day, didn't lose a single fish, put them on the rack, got the rack set up, and just filled it up with rainwater, and they were okay. Have I made anything new? Yes, there are a couple of new things, believe it or not. I've got some Tanganyikans which I'll show you, and I can't remember the name. I bought them from Mad Aquariums. They gave me a good price on them. It's a group of about 7. The only way to describe them, and my apologies that I can't remember their name. The only way to describe them is it's like, I don't know, like streamlined bass on steroids, man. They just hit food so hard. But they're settling well. There's 7 of them in the tank. The tank, in all honesty, is not big enough for them if I intend to try and breed them. There is a dominant male in there for sure, probably 2 males that I can see, and there's a couple of females, but they're doing well. But I'll run through all the tanks. So, because this is a garage, heating and cooling is going to be an issue for me, and we'll have to deal with that as time goes on, probably in the new year. On the 20s have no heating at the moment in any form, and it's summer, so it's fine, no problem. The cubes, the 60 cubes have got heating, the 100 cubes have got heating, and of course the 1000 has got heating as well. And the marine tank has got heating and cooling, so that tank's fine. Before I show you what's happening in here and what fish I've still got left, my thinking in the garage in the new year is to the left of me, probably a 2-meter gap. I want to put another stand running all the way from front to back of the garage. Excuse me. And I'll put on there maybe 2-foot tanks and some 4-foots, and we'll use that for breeding and rearing. So that's some of the thinking. What I'm going to breed in the new year, still not too sure. I've picked up a couple of angels that had quite high blue in them, and I'd like to breed them. Peruvian Ultims, I've got a pair that I pulled one side, which I had at the old house as well. They're settling. I've had 1 spawn since I've moved. But they weren't fertile, so not too sure if there's a problem with that pair, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so that's the thinking. That's where I'm at. Again, apologies that it's taken so long to get back to you guys, but you know, life, work, changing jobs, moving houses, and moving houses is probably one of the most stressful things you can do. And then trying to make sure your fish and animals are okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab the camera off there, swing it around, and just run you through where I'm at and what I've still got, and then we'll end off after that. All right, so let's have a look. The other thing is I don't have great light in here, but we'll do what we can. All right, on the top, paradise fish. So I bred these just before we moved, probably a couple of weeks. So I've got the one in here. That's the female. She's ready to breed again. And the reason I didn't get rid of her is because I really wanted to show you how I breed them. This tank has got nothing in it at the moment, which is fine. There's the male paradise fish at the back. Hopefully you can see him there. He's really a stunning fish. And there's a couple of leftover cats in here still from the move. So the idea is paradise fish will breed those soon again. In here, it's just some paradise fish that were left from the last breed. There's one, and you can see my tanks. They are as they are, got algae in them. But hey, the fish are healthy, so that's what's important. That's what's left from the last breed. And they're doing really well. I don't know why I've never bred them before, but I really love them. I think they're really cool fish. There's just not enough breeding of these around, I think. So we'll give those a go again and try and get some good quantities this time. Tank on the end, nothing in there in particular. It's a spare. It's probably more like a hospital tank, but we'll try and find a use for it. All right, coming down on the second row. Apologies for any of glare. That's got the shell dwellers in them. These are the youngsters that were left, so just growing them up. Sold most of the adults. We still got a pair of dwarfs in here. Probably see the male just underneath has disappeared. But there's a pair of Hongslow in here. Apologies. In here we've got garden eye. There's a few in here that are still spawning, but I haven't been removing eggs. Yes, some garden eye, but they're really getting on now. So probably time for them to move on, as in from an age point of view, not really breeding. This female has been, the male has been a little bit rough on her as well, so we'll probably move her out. In this one, we've got still the pair of cribs. That's the male underneath there, and we'll probably just keep them and keep spawning them. And then on the side, we've got still a pair of the shell dwellers. And we'll see. I might not keep them, might move them on now as well. Coming down to the 60s. And again, apologies for glare. All right, these are I've got 5 in here. Got these from Mad Aquariums as well. So thanks a lot to them for doing me a good deal on these. They've got a little bit of blue in them. So can't really see it in this lighting, but I'm quite keen to breed them, and they're doing quite well. So we'll wait for a pair to develop and we'll pull those out. The tank next to it, this is the tank that's got all the little bits and pieces. If you remember, this has got the rainbows in that I collected, and I still got quite a fair amount of the baby cribs that I had left. I just put them in here, and they've just been growing in there. So there's some cribs and a couple of the rainbows were collected in there. All right, and then on this tank is, now they don't want to show themselves, is the Tanganyikans. You can see at the back there's one coming up. Maybe what we can do is see if we drop some food, if they'll come, but you know, probably not, because we've got the camera on now, and yeah, okay, well, we'll leave them. We'll do a separate video on them at some stage. Okay. And then coming across, we've obviously got the 1000, the big one. This has got 3 Ultims in it. That's them over there. And then I've got my 2 Rays in here. There's the one in the back corner, and the other one is probably in the back corner as well. Yep, you can see the other one's face sticking out there. They are doing really well and growing really well. And I'm pleased that I'm able to keep them, you know, in a tank, a 1,000-litre tank, which is great. Moving on, these are the 200s. So we've got the pair of Ultims in there, well, Peruvian Ultims, and they're getting ready to spawn again, and they're doing really well. That's them in there. And then in this tank here, I've got three 397s. Plecos, and they've been in here for a few weeks now, and the idea is to try and see if we can spawn them, but I haven't spent much time on worrying about this tank or doing anything. I've just let them be and do their own thing. So that's another little breeding program we want to try. And then next to it, obviously, we've got the marine tank, and that's doing fine. You know, what's in there now is in there. They're eating well, they're doing well, so we'll just keep up maintenance on this. I'm not too worried about the inside of the tank now, and you know, algae and that kind of thing. It is what it is. My thinking on this marine tank is that I might at some stage just stop the marine side, or you know, take all the marine fish out of this tank, and possibly just convert this tank into a Malawi cichlid tank. So that's the one option. Well, there we go. That's just a quick rundown of where we're at and what I've still got. I think the next thing is I want to get this other bank up, but we'll do that in the new year. The thing that for me now, right now, is just make sure the fish are stable, everything's doing okay. Try and get the Peruvian Ultims to get some viable eggs out of them and spend some time on that. Grow up the other angels and get them to spawn, which should be straightforward. The paradise fish, we want to do some more on that as well. So I'll do something on the paradise fish, and we'll put them together soon. and I'll run you through that. I just need to get some infusoria going for the paradise fish, and the spawns that I get out of them are massive, absolutely massive. My apologies. I had a bit of COVID, so chest is still not 100%. Well, that's it, guys. Really good to be back on the channel again, and looking forward to doing some really interesting and different breeding. Getting another setup, more tanks in here at some stage, but we'll see how that goes. It is my garage, so I need to try and be able to do whatever I need to do in here, as well as keep the fish. Anyway, I just wanted to check in, let everybody know that we're all good. We're back again. We'll start making some more videos. Hopefully I'll make another one before Christmas, but if I don't, have a fantastic Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. Have a good break if you're taking a holiday, taking a break over this time. Enjoy the New Year's. Stay safe, look after yourselves. Until the next video, Urban Fish Keeper out.